The modern zombies era has introduced a bunch of changes, but there is one change that we really need to talk about. How's it going, everyone? My name is Bearsy, and in today's video, it's going to be a special one because I am here with Carnage99R. What's up, bro?
What is going on, man? I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to talk about some weapon rarities. And without further ado, if you're ready, we can jump right into it.
Yes, and if you guys do enjoy the video at any given point, please smash that thumbs up button. This is the first collab right here on the channel, so let's dive into things. So what I want to do really quickly is talk about the rarity system and how it works. So essentially, if you guys don't know what the rarity system is, obviously 99% of you guys do. You know, it's the same thing as a hand sanitizer bottle, but essentially, you find salvage on the ground, and then you can actually use it to upgrade your weapon's rarity. So there's 4 tiers here. First one being green tier, next one being blue, legendary, purple, and then, orange rarity, which is going to give you the highest damage output. And, these do increase in price. So the base one's going to be 500, while the next one, or the highest tier one, is going to be 5,000 salvage, which is honestly a ton. It is a good system in its entirety, don't get me wrong, but there are a ton of things that really do need to be fixed about this. I'll talk about that later in the video, but essentially, this is just another version of Pack-a-Punch, which is exactly why this is a very big issue, and I feel like this really needs to be discussed about the future of rarities going forward.
So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into what actually is the core problem with weapon rarities in themselves. So I think there's a few points here, but honestly, I think the first one is it totally devalues the weapon itself. If you pull a weapon out of a box and let's say it's a green, but it happens to be a good weapon, it's really not a good weapon at that point. So, you could have maybe the worst gun in the game, but if it's legendary, that is going to topple the actual weapon itself. And I just don't like that. It makes the box feel even less useful than it already did on top of the loadout system, which is a whole nother issue. But I don't like that from a balancing standpoint. It just really makes weapons just not feel unique anymore, and any weapon can be better than another one depending on the rarity, and that's just not one of the things that Zombies was built upon. My next point on why I believe that weapon rarities are actually a pretty big problem is it adds to the artificial difficulty of the game. So what do I mean by this? Well, let's say you finish everything up. Let's say you're on an Easter egg run. You finish everything up, and then you're jumping into, getting ready for the boss fight. So you're trying to get your perks, get your Pack-a-Punch, all that good stuff. You're going to need a ton of salvage to actually be able to jump into the boss fight, because you're probably going to want to have your weapons and gear maxed out and all that. And so you're going to be just sitting there for 10 plus rounds farming for points and salvage. And that just really does not feel great. It makes the Easter eggs longer, sure, but for the wrong reasons, if that makes sense. So those are a couple reasons why I just don't believe that it works. It's just one of those things that we really could do without. It's one of those things that Zombies, like I said, was not founded upon, and it's just another system that really does not make a whole lot of sense in terms of the gameplay flow of Zombies.
So with that being said, there are going to be a few ways that I actually can see rarities being fixed within the future. Some of my personal takes on this, and I'm pretty sure Carnage can agree. The first one being, and I know this is going to be spammed in our comment section of our videos if I don't mention it here, is that taking the rarities out of the game entirely, because that's what 99% of the people want. They just want a classic feeling Zombies environment where they can actually just go to high rounds, where they don't have to micromanage. And I've said this time and time again on my videos, even Carnage agrees with me, is that this is the most annoying part of Zombies, and if they were to take it out, I would be completely fine with it, unlike something with armor, which I talked about in an earlier video of mine personally. But besides the point, taking the rarities out of the game honestly would just be the best decision for Treyarch in this moment. The second thing being is what I said in my 22-minute review, and if you guys can show any support for the video, because it took 11 hours to make and I honestly had a blast making it, go check that video out right after this one, after you check out the armor one, of course. But besides the point, what I said in that video is actually decreasing the price of the overall rarity system, because what I did is I took the math of all the numbers from the rarity system, and it's 9,000 salvage, and that's a lot. That's just for one gun. If you want to get another gun, it's 9,000 salvage, which is 18,000 salvage, and especially, if you're going for high round games, it's fine, you know, because you're going to get the salvage over time. But for someone like me personally, who really just plays zombies for the Easter eggs and wants to actually, you know, complete challenges and do everything else in between, you know, the price of the rarity system is just way too high. So honestly, decreasing every single rarity tier in half would just be the best of both worlds. And honestly, it's not going to, you know, make the rarity system any better, but it's going to be more tolerable than what it is currently within Black Ops 6 zombies going into Black Ops 7 zombies. So the last point that I have to actually make rarities a lot more tolerable, and honestly, you know, coming from the numbers guy and everything else in between, you know, this is the way that I would fix rarities if I was at Treyarch, you know, if I couldn't remove rarities. So what I would do is maybe keep like the same price of 5,000 salvage, or maybe even 2,500. But instead of you going through each and every single tier, what I would do is just have one single tier. So that way, you're not going through the green, blue, purple, and orange rarity every single time. No, you would still get your ammo mods in the same machine, but the way that it would work is you would just have like an orange rarity, or maybe the purple rarity could be the top tier one. Or instead of that, maybe this rarity machine could give you the alternate pack-a-punch ability instead of you pack-a-punching 3 times, because that's already what you have to do to make your gun stronger. But essentially, just having one rarity system would, number one, throw a lot more confusion out of the way for those casual players, because, you know, while casual players do their own thing, they need to learn somehow. And honestly, I think this is the best way to do it. The second one being is for us hardcore players, it's really going to make it more manageable, because, you know, someone like me who loves to do Easter eggs, and someone like Carnage who likes to actually just play zombies for the fun of it, you know, just having one rarity system where we can actually just, you know, get the orange rarity at the very beginning of the game would just be a lot better to actually play with.
All right, so next we are going to be jumping into whether Treyarch will actually fix this or not. My gut is telling me no. So if you guys have watched my channel, you know that I don't really give Treyarch / Activision much credit these days, because we've been burned and burned and burned in the past so many times. However, I do still love this game, but I just really don't think that this is something that is going to happen, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. So maybe some of the smaller points, like reducing the price of it, I could see them do. I don't see them removing it entirely, but maybe something like the price, I could see something like that maybe eventually be, you know, adjusted. But as far as giving the whole system a complete overhaul, I don't know if we'll ever see that, especially not for Black Ops 7. Maybe a future Zombies title, but not this one. But the reason I believe that we are not going to be seeing any of these major changes is because there is really no competition for zombies. Now, if you look at something like multiplayer, Battlefield 6 was obviously putting the pressure on Call of Duty this year. I do believe that Black Ops 7 is going to sell very poorly, because of people are tired of being lied to and manipulated because of Battlefield 6. So, you know, it's one of those things where they actually had to listen for the multiplayer side of things, because obviously that's what Battlefield is competing with. So they're removing skill-based matchmaking, they're adjusting aim assist, they're moving around perks, they're adjusting slot, you know, they're doing all these different things. But if you look at the actual zombies mode, there really isn't anything to compare it to right now. I mean, what, Back 4 Blood maybe is that thing we have to compare it to these days? I mean, so as you can see, there's really no zombies competition. So what reason does Treyarch have to, you know, maybe push a little further? You know, it stinks that we really have to rely on other games to come out to force Treyarch and Activision's hand, but sadly, that's where we're at with the Call of Duty franchise, whether we like it or not. But all in all, for those reasons, I do not think we are going to be getting any major changes to this system. Maybe some smaller ones, but nothing major.
And just to wrap up this video, you know, me and Carnage, you know, both want this game to succeed personally, and I don't know how Carnage feels about this. He'll say it in a second. I think this game, you know, if everything does well with post-launch support, I think it's going to do well. What do you think, Carnage?
I think that, honestly, we could have something special on our hands here. The reason I say that is Treyarch did say that they are not holding back for this game. I've said it before, but Black Ops 6 was clearly given up on halfway through the life cycle. I think that's because they pulled a lot of resources to work on this game, but Treyarch did say that they are not holding back for this game. And so far, from everything we've seen, that looks to be true, but that's all to be determined. I don't know how the sales numbers are going to look, because I think they've burned a lot of people already. but I do think we could be getting a quality product here with Black Ops 7.
I honestly feel the same way. And honestly, you know, if you guys have any banter, you guys want to say anything about it to me or Carnage's video down there in the comment section below, please do so. I read all the comments, and I'm pretty sure he does too because I've been checking out his videos. But, you know, other than that, guys, I just want to say if you guys did enjoy this dual commentary with me and Carnage, you know, please leave a like on me and his video down there in the comment section below. Do you have anything else to say, Carnage?
I think that about wraps it up. This has been Weapon Rarities with us too. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys enjoyed, and like you said, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps the channels out, and it helps us push more content out for you guys and know what you guys like and do not like. So yeah, anything to say in the comment section below regarding the topic, let us know. Let's talk about it, but we will check y'all on the next one.
And I just want to say, if you guys did enjoy today's video, smash a like, thumb, share. You guys do what you guys want to do, but stay healthy, stay clean. Bye.